Welcome to my days. 269, 379. Mad Dogs, Mad Dog Pros. Let's go through the process, shall we? Okay. Yeah, that was my last, 4 hours. Because no one's here to see me review the Mad Dog Pros. They're here to know if the Mad Dog Pros are worth $110 more than the Mad Dogs. And that's a hard thing to qualify. Is it $110 better? I don't know, maybe. First of all, these are my Mad Dogs. I got them secondhand broken, fixed them, and have abused the shit out of them ever since. When I came all the way to Japan, 12-hour flight from Detroit back and forth, both ways, never took them off. So these are obviously some of my favorite headphones if I'm going to wear them for that long. And now the Pros come out, and the Pros have a couple different things. This is right there is a locking input right there. And here they have the mini XLR. It's very nice. It's very, very sexy. I don't know if I like that angle. That angle gets weird, by the way, where it's sticking out. Another thing I noticed, and I'm not sure if it's just because of those, but the pads here wrap around the cup. There's no, groove. And here, the pads actually go into a groove. Like there's plastic there. I don't have that on mine. So if you have that on yours, check the interwebs. Did I show it? The Pros I don't care about. I care about the dogs themselves. Yeah, no. See, the dogs just wrap around. And the Pros, they've obviously manufactured a ring to actually make it look nice. So is that worth $110? I don't think that is. But going back towards sound. They obviously require the same amount of power. I'm running them off my FIO EO9K. I'm using my Sescom AB switch made in America, which means it's really expensive just because it says that. And switching back and forth like that did not require me to adjust the volume. They sounded exactly the same volume. Do they sound exactly the same? No. No. They sound different. But is it a good different, or is it just a different? And the biggest change, because I've always been under the impression, because Mr. Speakers wrote it, is that, the Pros are for EDM. They're for real bass head freakouts, and they're really not. There's maybe a slight bump of low end from the Pros. Not $110 worth, but a slight bump. And that's because they've done something else in here that's changed the sound. Because going from here to here, It feels like these are studio monitors where everything's narrow and listening, and I described them as there being a box around them. You could hear all the points. And that's absolutely still true to today. And these, I said that word again. I'm going to get a swear jar, only for the word these. The pros here sound like that 6-inch square with all the sounds that could happen is now 9 inches or 8 inches. So it's got more soundstage than these. Fuck, I said it again. The pros have more soundstage than the non-pros. Now, is that good? Because all the detail I hear in all the detail I hear in the Mad Dogs, I still hear it, but it's slightly less in the pros. That's a sacrifice you make. When you go with soundstage, with incredibly wide soundstage, that's when you start getting away from work cans and getting into fun cans. And that's how I'm going to classify these two now. Because I think you could use both for both. It's just levels of each. None of them go... The X2s are... you could never master on the X2s. They are just crazy wide, and the low end is insane. But personally, you could almost never enjoy... Oh god, I broke the chair. Never enjoy M50s with their stock accoutrements because they don't have anything but detail. I'm going to say they reveal everything, but in a way that is very, 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 I want to say boring, but I'm going to say painful and analytical. And X2s, which I should have bought a set on that crazy sale, are the exact polar opposite of M50s. If you own M50s and you want to know what the other end of the world looks like, just jump across the table to X2s, because that's what they are. Now, here in the middle, these could be... there's maybe one headphone in the middle of this somewhere, but these lean towards that, and these lean towards the X2s. Now, I got the Alpha Dogs up there, and when I review those, I'm going to include it against this, because I have to know that's a bigger price jump than this measly $110. But that is a much bigger difference than what I'm talking about here. The pros are enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable to listen to. And going back and forth like I just did, over and over and over and over and over and over, different track, over and over, switch, over and over again. If you just said, here's both of them, keep one, it'd probably be the pros. But if I'm doing things for analytical purposes, where I'm like, oh, I got to hear specifically this track, how the recording, I think the non-pros might be the headphones for it, because that slight narrowness brings all this. When you go wide, details are wide, and details that are wide are far away, and you can lose some. That's why shit like this, the details are fucking inside you, so you can't lose anything. But they're also, inside you. Let's assume you're in bed with a supermodel, right? Now imagine your face is straight up against her, and so it's blackness. That's what these are like. And super far away ones, you're in bed with a supermodel, but you're looking through binoculars backwards. So you see everything, but you're not quite feeling, you're just like, yeah, I think that's hot. And then in the middle here, that's where the butter happens. That's where you're in love with that supermodel, and you can see just enough to have it be enjoyable, or get a little bit closer and it's just enjoyable in here. There's two extremes. The X2s are absolute fun pleasure cans, and these are absolute work cans. And these two are middle ground cans. Question is, do you want to go for the just closer? Everything sounds closer. Closer, more in. You're inside of it a little more. Here, things are out, they're spread out. You can feel it's bigger. It feels and sounds bigger. with a slight bass boost. Because whatever they've done, because obviously these are the same headphones internally, they just moved the driver around, twisted it, put padding behind it, whatever they've done. I'm not going to rip this apart and analyze it with a micrometer. But they've done work to this to make it different and better if you're looking for a bigger sound. These literally are the Mad Dog XLs. Keep in mind that my Mad Dogs are beat up to shit. I mean, look at the pads. It's sad. And these are brand new. But, yeah, this is a hard one. It won't be a hard one to get the Alpha Dogs down here. Then it'll just be like, ha 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 ha. But, choose. If you have these, and you've had them forever, and you want something different, there's an upgrade option, I believe, still on the Mr. Speaker site that'll let you switch them to these. So send these back in. They probably throw them in a bin, send you one of these, and then they take your old ones and they convert it. It's like when you're bringing in a catalytic converter or something in a auto shop. That's a bad example. An alternator. You bring in your alternator, here you go. They give you a brand new alternator, then they fix the old alternator. It's what they do. They change these to make them different. They don't make them as different as that. We're getting to those. And I apologize for that terrible supermodel analogy. We're all just thinking about banging supermodels now. But, yeah. Yeah. Obviously the Mad Dogs. And then, yes to the pros. So now I've got to somehow work that into my list in my brain of who do I recommend these to now. Because it's not just EDM. There is an advantage to all the things versus these. But then again, these have an advantage to all the things versus these. Isn't this confusing? Life's confusing.